It helps that you have that sort of youthful confidence. You don't have to worry about it.
I'm confident all the time. I don't feel pressure like that.
College basketball has a Miikka Muurinen problem, and almost nobody fully understands the scale of what's coming. Think about what we're actually dealing with here. A 7-foot forward from Finland, a kid who grew up in a quiet city outside of Helsinki, relocated to Spain at 15, then crossed the Atlantic to play high school basketball in Kansas, then Arizona, then skipped his senior year entirely to sign a 3-year professional contract with one of the most decorated clubs in European basketball history. And after all of that, after going viral at Eurobasket, after winning the Rising Star Award as the youngest player in the entire tournament, after competing against grown professional men while most kids his age were focused on graduating high school, he decided he still wanted to go to college. He committed to Arkansas. John Calipari just secured the #1 recruiting class in the country, and college basketball just inherited a problem it has absolutely no answer for. Let's go back to where this actually begins. Because this story doesn't start in Fayetteville. It doesn't start in Serbia or Arizona or Kansas. It starts in Järvenpää, Finland, a quiet city roughly 30 minutes north of Helsinki. That's where Miikka Muurinen was born on March 4th, 2007. And here's the part most people skip over when they talk about him. This was never just a tall kid who stumbled into basketball. The sport was embedded in his DNA. His father, Kimmo Muurinen, was a professional player who represented the Finnish national team across 153 international appearances over the course of his career. His mother, Jenny Laaksonen, played college basketball at the University of North Carolina and went on to represent the Finnish women's national team in 68 international games. Miikka was literally coached by his own mother during his early development years. Both parents were professional athletes. Basketball wasn't just something this family did, it was the family business. He joined the youth program at BI Basketball in Järvenpää at 7 years old, and even in those earliest years, something set him apart. The size was obvious, but what people noticed beyond the physical was the feel for the game, the way he moved, the way he processed situations on the floor. By 15, Miikka had simply outgrown what Finland could offer him competitively. And rather than wait for the level around him to rise, he made a move most European teenagers never make. He left home. He relocated to Madrid and joined Centro Basketball, stepping into a completely different environment with different coaching, different players, and a different level of competitive intensity. He was 15 years old, living in Spain, learning to hold his own against older players, navigating a new language and a new culture entirely. Most kids that age struggle adjusting to a new school. He adjusted to a new country. Then came the decision that changed everything. In the summer of 2023, Muurinen crossed the Atlantic and enrolled at Sunrise Christian Academy in Bel Air, Kansas, one of the most competitive high school basketball environments in the entire country. The NIBC circuit that Sunrise competes on is essentially the national proving ground for elite prospects. This was his first real exposure to American basketball, and he was arriving from Finland by way of Spain. Nobody knew exactly what to expect, but they found out quickly. The size alone was impossible to overlook, listed around 6'10" at the time with a wingspan that seemed to extend forever. But it was the summer of 2024 that launched him into an entirely different conversation. Playing for Brad Beal Elite on the Nike EYL, the most competitive grassroots basketball circuit in the country, Muurinen didn't just survive the competition, he helped Brad Beal Elite win the Peach Jam Championship at the 16U level and walked away from that tournament as MVP. For his junior season, he transferred to AZ Campus Prep in Chandler, Arizona, one of the premier high school programs in the nation. Playing against top competition night after night, he confirmed everything the recruiting services had been trending toward: 5 stars. ESPN graded him at 95, placing him inside the top 5 of the entire 2026 class. Multiple services had him as a top 15 national recruit. Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, Kansas, Illinois, every blue blood program in America was calling. Every one of them wanted the kid from Finland. And then everything shifted again. Just when everyone thought they had figured out what Miikka Muurinen's path was going to look like, he made a move nobody anticipated.
He bypassed his senior year of high school entirely and signed a 3-year professional contract with Partizan Belgrade at 18 years old. Partizan Belgrade is not a minor club. This is one of the most storied basketball organizations in all of Europe, competing in the EuroLeague, the equivalent of the Champions League in European basketball. The level of competition, the structure, the professionalism, it is an entirely different world from high school basketball. And Miikka Muurinen walked into that world at 18 as the youngest player on the roster and immediately went viral. His statistics at Partizan were modest, limited minutes under coach Jelko Obradović, one of the most legendary coaches in the history of European basketball. But every time he stepped on the floor, something happened that made the internet stop scrolling. A thunderous dunk on debut, a chase-down block, the athleticism, the length, the energy, all of it translated immediately on the biggest professional stage in Europe. Social media influencer Kym Wilder coined a nickname that stuck almost instantly, Slim Jesus. Then came Eurobasket 2025, and this is the moment Miikka Muurinen stopped being a prospect and started becoming a genuine problem for anyone who had doubted him.
Finland entered FIBA Eurobasket 2025 with modest expectations. They were not Serbia or France. They are not a traditional European powerhouse. And Muurinen, the youngest player in the entire tournament, was expected to serve as a spark plug off the bench, a role player in a competition filled with grown professionals carrying years of experience. What actually unfolded was historic. Finland finished 4th at Eurobasket 2025, the best result in the country's basketball history, and Muurinen was a significant reason why. He averaged 6.6 points and 1.9 rebounds in just over 11 minutes per game, serving as Finland's second leading shot blocker despite coming off the bench. He shot 14 for 16 on 2-point attempts across the entire tournament. In the quarterfinal against Serbia, a roster stacked with players who had spent years in the NBA and EuroLeague, he came off the bench and exploded for 9 points in 12 minutes, helping pull off one of the biggest upsets of the competition. Finland's head coach Lassi Tuvi said it best in the post-game press conference, "You cannot put him in a box. The box will be too small." And at the conclusion of the tournament, Muurinen was awarded the inaugural Eurobasket Rising Star Award, the first player from Finland to ever receive it. After Eurobasket, things got complicated at Partizan. Head coach Jelko Obradović stepped down mid-season, and the incoming coach, Johan Penaroya, significantly reduced Muurinen's playing time, reportedly without being fully aware of his plans to return to America for college. Muurinen handled the situation with a level of maturity that most players twice his age wouldn't manage. He said publicly that he partly understood the new coach's perspective, acknowledged it was simply a different culture and a different set of priorities, and made the decision to move forward. No complaints, no drama, no burning bridges, just clarity and a plan. He departed Partizan in late February 2026 and turned his full attention toward his college decision. Then came the Nike Hoop Summit in April 2026, the most prestigious international showcase in the sport, where the best young talent from around the world goes head-to-head against the top high school players in America. Muurinen headlined the world team, and in 15 minutes on the floor, he put up 10 points and 8 rebounds, looking every bit like a player who was ready for the next level. He was more physical than he'd been the year prior, more composed, more controlled. The Partizan experience had done exactly what it was designed to do: mature him, challenge him, and show him what professional basketball genuinely demands. And now that version of Miikka Muurinen was about to be unleashed on college basketball. The finalists came down to Kentucky, Arkansas, North Carolina, Illinois, Indiana, and BYU. Reports heading into the announcement had Arkansas and North Carolina as the frontrunners. And on April 27, 2026, Muurinen went live on Instagram and committed to the Arkansas Razorbacks. Just like that, John Calipari had secured the #1 recruit in the country, according to ESPN. Muurinen joins 5-star guard Jordan Smith, the #2 overall recruit in the 2026 class, 5-star wing J.J. Andrews, who actually teamed up with Muurinen to win the Peach Jam Championship together with Brad Beal Elite, and 5-star wing Adu Thero.
4 5-star players in a single recruiting class. The Arkansas roster heading into the 2026-27 season is shaping up to be something special. Jordan Smith running the point, J.J. Andrews providing switchable wing defense, Adu Thero adding length and athleticism, and Miikka Muurinen standing 7 feet tall with a 7'2" wingspan, a touch that extends out to the arc, the ability to run the floor in transition, and the defensive versatility to guard on the perimeter or protect the rim. FIBA has called him the finish freak. He's been projected as a potential first-round pick in the 2027 NBA draft, and he told ESPN directly why he chose Arkansas. Calipari was straightforward with him from the beginning, never oversold the situation, had a proven track record of developing one-and-done talent, and had been consistently recruiting him for nearly 2 years without ever pulling back. Muurinen was completely direct about his intentions. He said he's going to Arkansas to help win a national championship and that he wants to be surrounded by people who can help guide him toward becoming a one-and-done player. Now, there are still legitimate questions that need to be addressed honestly. His three-point shooting hasn't been reliable, 35% at Eurobasket, and considerably lower against tougher competition. He'll need to add significant muscle to hold his own against the physical bigs in the SEC. Defensive consistency is still something he's actively developing, and the college game is a different animal from anything he's played before. The SEC is not going to offer anyone a comfortable adjustment period. But here's what matters more than any of those concerns right now. He is 19 years old. He has already played professional basketball in the EuroLeague. He has already competed against grown men on the biggest international stage in European basketball and walked away with a Rising Star award. He already won a Peach Jam MVP on American soil. He has already navigated coaching changes, cultural transitions, new countries, new languages, and the weight of being the most hyped Finnish basketball prospect since Lauri Markkanen. And through every single one of those challenges, he has never flinched. College basketball has a Miikka Muurinen problem because one season at Arkansas, surrounded by 4 5-star teammates, under a coach who has sent dozens of players to the NBA lottery, this kid from Jarenpa is about to show every program that passed on him exactly what they're going to be watching from the other sideline. Every other box was too small. Fayetteville just might be big enough to hold what's coming. Arkansas hasn't won a national championship since 1994. Does this recruiting class finally change that? Drop your prediction in the comments. How far can Calipari and Muurinen take the Razorbacks next season? And as always, thanks for watching.